What up, y'all? How y'all doing? We're going to get right into it today. No BSing because it's very important topics to get into. And I'm just going to skip all the BS today because we're going to get right with it when it comes to your man, Desean Jackson. My man as well. But today he's your man. I'm putting that on you. So,
Oh, okay. All
so
right, Mr. Philadelphia Eagles fan. All right.
hey, this is how it go, dog. Listen, I was all Deshaun up until today. Like for everybody that doesn't know, here while we're recording at 7, today is 7/9 on Thursday, and I was all Deshaun with this whole process until he's like you can't apologize and then like a tweet from a divisive person that says black men shouldn't apologize. Like that's wild to me. Like so, I'm not with that, but we're going to get into that. So, yo, you want to set the stage or should I?
You got it. You got it. You go ahead, man.
All right. So setting the stage, Desean Jackson put out a tweet. He's been putting out tweets that could be taken as anti-Semitic and divisive because he's been quoting Louis Farrakhan, and while those haven't been directly anti-Semitic in nature, we all know that Louis Farrakhan does make anti-Semitic comments, and then some of those quotes are in reference to like something that he says anti-Semitic afterwards. And then he goes on to say a fake quote from Hitler where he says, "Beware, they meaning the white Jew will extort America, and Negroes should beware," or something like that. I really don't want to delve too much into it to get the quote correct because I'm just not with all that nonsense. But if you guys want to know the quote, Google. It works. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Go for it.
at first, Deshaun, basically he was trying to say that he didn't mean it like that. I'm not going to get into how I feel about the tweet itself or none of that. Like, yo, some people are offended. Like they're letting you know that they're offended, and so now what are you going to do about it from there? And Deshaun basically was like, "Yeah, no, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just trying to uplift my people." Blah 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 blah. He left the tweet up. He was like, "I'm sorry if it offended you, but I didn't mean it like that or whatever." And if that's how he feels, if that's truly how he feels, I guess at the end of the day, take it or leave it. But the part I want to get into is if he was to come out and not stand on that ground and not stand firm on that ground, I have a problem with everyone calling for him to be cut from the team. And this is what I really want to talk about is because there's a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people frothing at the mouth, cut him, cut him. And like this is prior to today. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody's like, cut him. You guys need to cut him. You can't go around saying anti-Semitic things. You can't go around quoting Hitler, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I understand, truly I do. But I just feel as though you might have felt this way, but you weren't screaming it nearly as passionately when Riley Cooper 7 years ago said, "I'll beat every nigger's ass in here," like at a country concert. Like,
Yeah.
like you weren't saying you can't go around threatening to beat every nigger's ass in here. Like you wasn't like I didn't hear that same vigor in your voice. He was like, "Oh, Riley Cooper." You might have been like, "Riley Cooper said some terrible statements. I don't agree with it. Blah blah blah. What are the Eagles going to do?" That might have been what you said, but
Yeah.
hey, at the end of the day, the Eagles kept Riley Cooper. And
Yeah.
fast forward to today, because I'm just going to defeat some
Man.
people's topic right now when they say today's a new day. Like that was then. This is now. Like you can't say that now. Well, hey, Jake Fromm, which is the backup quarterback, the Buffalo Bills, he had some white elitist comments come out in a text message, and the Buffalo Bills said, "We're going to work with him. He is a backup quarterback, a rookie backup quarterback." That the Buffalo Bills said, we're going to stick it out with him. We're going to educate him. We're going to make sure we get him on the right path.
Hey, real quick. I just want it to be known. He is a rookie quarterback, and he is a backup. Let's be very clear. This man was not drafted in the first or second round. So it's not as if they're paying him a bunch of money, right? It's not like they're paying him a bunch of money to where they have to weigh it into the decision making. Like, no, y'all could just cut him and it won't be a thing. But continue.
Right. But even still, like, although we feel our moral side says that shouldn't be a part of it. That shouldn't be a thing. It should be what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And if they're not doing right, then you got to get rid of them. Yes, morally correct. But there is a business side that comes into play. And when that comes into play, things get a little bit murky. So, but in this,
we might not like it, but we understand that it's a thing that exists. We understand
exactly. And in this particular case, Drake Fromm for the Buffalo, that's not the case. You could have separated yourselves and been done with it. You could have separated yourselves from Riley Cooper 7 years ago and been done with it. You could have separated yourselves from Richie Incognito in Miami and been done with it. Hey,
all right.
So when I say all this, I'm saying all this because you don't have that excuse of it's a new day, we are more socially conscious, blah 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 blah. Because this is today. Jake Fromm happened this year. Jake Fromm happened in May of this year. So what are we talking about? You can't come back a month later and be like, well, he shouldn't have said that, blah, blah, this, that, and the third, because, and excuse me if me saying blah, blah, blah offends anyone, because the blah, blah, blah portion is it's just more words, not I don't care what has been said there. But anyway, the point being is that Desean, if he doesn't double down on his comments and he is apologetic, and which he has said he doesn't truly understand, and he plans on making the trip to some of the Holocaust camps to understand what was going, like to have a deeper understanding of why that offends certain people and all that. Although you shouldn't need to do all that. I mean, like, Hitler's bad, Holocaust is pretty common knowledge. You are a graduated college student. Like, help me understand. Like, you already know that stuff. You shouldn't, unlike Black slavery history, that wasn't swept under the rug. The Holocaust is there in bright, blaring lights for everybody to learn about. So, I don't understand what Desean really truly needs to learn in that regard. But hey, if that's what he says, that's what he says. And last time I checked, his owner is a Jewish man. His GM is a Jewish man. The former GM, who, in my opinion, brought more light to the situation, Joel Banner, is also a Jewish man. Joe Banner was calling for Desean Jackson's head, calling for him to be cut, this, that, and the third. But hey, Joe, you were the GM when Riley was there. Weren't you? You didn't cut Riley, did you?
This is the thing. This is the thing that blows my. So I want to just throw into all that stuff that you said. Also, there is a large Jewish community in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and start on what I got to say, man, because there's so many things that play into this. Number one, this is a classic case of an idiot being an idiot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, man, that quote could have said, everybody needs to stand together as one. If in the beginning of that, give me a second.
All right. If in the beginning of that, it says, hey, Hitler said this, or if in the end of it, it says the little dash mark and it says Hitler on the end, it doesn't matter what's in that quote. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand, as Desean Jackson, you have to understand, it doesn't matter what that shit could have said. It could have said, hey, man, these are step-by-step instructions for the cure to cancer. If that shit said Hitler on it, you cannot repeat it. You have to know that. You have to know that as Desean Jackson, right? Okay, and then now you have a situation like let's just scrap that. This is an idiot being an idiot, right?
Right.
And like quoting Farrakhan is already a sketchy enough situation. Like, yeah. I understand what Farrakhan is about. Right. I understand that he might even have some dope quotes.
Yes, he might have good points.
You know what I mean? He might.
So, hey, man, he's an intelligent person.
Yeah, like I said, he has to know that he can't quote Hitler. Plain and simple. So all right, let's get past him being an idiot quoting Hitler. Well, let's even just kind of let's just breeze past the fact that he's gonna quote Farrakhan, and everybody knows the type of inflammatory things that he has said in past, present, whatever. Okay, let's get past that. Okay, let's dig down into the roots of what's really happening here. There's a demographic of America that is upset with the way that people called for Drew Brees to be done away with, right? They were not happy that people were calling for him to be cut. There were people that was calling for him to all kind of things, right? These people were
no, like
now this is no, Mark,
because you said cut.
Mark, I'm explaining to you that I have had conversations with this specific demographic, and this is a big part of what I'm trying to say.
Who was calling?
No, hold on. I need you to understand this. Okay, you gotta let me finish. What I'm saying is this demographic that feels a certain way as far as backing Drew Brees, they chose to focus on the very small demographic that was calling for, Drew Brees' head on a spike, basically.
Okay.
They weren't trying to focus on the fact that a majority of players were just trying to say, look, man, you can't say that, Drew Brees. Or you have to at least acknowledge how we feel.
Right.
They weren't focusing on that. Those people were focusing on the select few of players that were just like really hardcore, far on the other side against Drew Brees. That particular demographic is now looking at this situation and saying, hey, how were some of you guys going to call for Drew Brees to have all these things happen to him and for him to be, quote unquote, canceled, but now you're silent on the Desean Jackson thing? Or now you're not looking at the Desean Jackson thing with the same outrage. See, you have a demographic of people. This same demographic of people will say all these things about the Drew Brees versus the Desean Jackson situation, but this is also the same demographic that really didn't have much to say about Riley Cooper.
Right.
They really didn't have much to say about Jake Fromm. You see what I'm saying? But what they're doing now is these people are pushing for Desean Jackson to get cut because they felt like they agreed with Drew Brees, and they felt like people shouldn't have been coming at Drew Brees because they agreed with him. Okay? So you got to understand, part of this backlash towards Desean Jackson isn't even because he quoted Hitler or because he quoted Farrakhan or because it was anti-Semitic. They don't even care about that. Because guess what? When Trump says these things, I'm telling you, the same demographic will look at it and say, man, Trump's an idiot. I wish he would just shut up. He says dumb things. I wish he wouldn't say dumb things because I think he's actually a good president. That's the way they deal with Trump when he says these things, when he says these types of things. But now that it's Desean Jackson, it has nothing to do with it being anti-Semitic. It has nothing to do with it being super offensive to them. It has everything to do with the fact that they just see it as a black man that they consider to be on the left side, you know what I mean, politically, saying this, and they feel like the left side doesn't have anything to say.
Well,
let me.
No, real quick to that. It's not just them though. It's not.
It isn't just them.
Today in Philly radio, like some of the radio's hosts are like, well, given the time that we're in now, you there should be just equal. It should just be equality, and there should be accountability, and the accountability goes to Desean because Riley Cooper was 7 years ago, this, that, and the third. But like I said, they're discounting the fact of Jake Fromm. Now,
yeah.
What I want to say is, because you wanted to ask me a question yesterday, and I didn't want to answer it because I wanted to wait till today to answer. So
now?
Feel free to ask me the question now.
Okay, before I ask that question, I'm just going to add to what I already said just now by saying that a precedent has already been set.
Yes, a precedent.
So they cannot cut Desean Jackson.
Which
across
is what I was yesterday.
Across the NFL, a precedent has been set.
Yes.
With the Philadelphia Eagles alone, a precedent has already been set.
Yes.
They cannot cut him without looking crazy. They cannot cut him without looking like, hey, man, y'all cutting him because he's black. You see what I'm saying? It's a very sensitive situation. But the question that I was going to ask you, I don't even know if it's a question or more of a statement, but what I was going to say is the timing of the Riley Cooper thing. Riley Cooper was in I felt like Riley Cooper was in a perfect situation. It was a perfect storm. He had a quarterback. He's an offensive player. He's a wide receiver. His current quarterback that was on the team was Michael Vick, who had just got a second chance after doing a year in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Two.
And doing time in jail for the dog stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He had been given a second chance by that team.
Right.
Me and you both discussed at that point in time, what else is Mike Vick going to say other than he feels like Riley Cooper deserves or should get a second chance?
Right.
What else is Mike Vick supposed to say? Because he can't say nothing. He's the quarterback. He has to say something. Beyond him having to say something and having to say something like that, Mike Vick, I personally believe he believed every word that he said.
Yeah. Michael Vick can't be the vehicle there. Like, Michael Vick can't be the vehicle for, hey, no, crucify this man. Because Michael Vick at that time was begging for forgiveness his damn self. He can't say, crucify this man, but forgive me for all my sins. Like, no, it don't work like that. And not only that, but Michael Vick was a man who came out of prison truly understanding of people mess up. And he is somebody that messed up and other people messed up. So he truly meant those words when it came to writing.
And then also Riley Cooper was in a situation to where most of America didn't even know who he was until that moment.
Right.
He wasn't somebody that was ultra productive on the field to where you would know his name. So you have a guy who's essentially a bench warmer who says these things, who did this.
Riley Cooper wasn't a bench warmer, bro.
I'm not gonna. Hey, look. Once again, most of America did not know who Riley Cooper was. I had never heard his name until that scenario. Maybe he wasn't a bench warmer, Mark, but I didn't know his name until that scenario happened.
Disrespectful, but I'm gonna move
Am I being disrespectful by saying I didn't know his name until that situation happened?
Yes, because you're lying.
I'm not lying. First of all, you're an Eagles fan.
But all right.
You are an Eagles fan.
All right.
So we're gonna keep that above. You are an Eagles fan.
Keep cooking, King. All right. Go ahead.
But let's keep it a buck. Do you think the casual NFL fan knew who Riley Cooper was?
The casual, no. But are you the fucking casual fan?
No, but I still
okay.
Know.
Then.
So I know for
sit here and lie to me.
But I know for a fact that people didn't know. Let me put it this way. Mark. The point I'm trying to make here is Riley Cooper's name wasn't ringing no bells.
Okay, that's fair.
Fine.
Now that's
fair, right? I'm gonna try to be as fair as possible. His name wasn't ringing no bells. So you know what Riley Cooper had to do in that situation to try to get out of it? You know what I mean? All he had to do was shut up. All he had to do was just not say nothing else. That's all he had to do. And guess what? All of the attention was going to put on what Mike Vick had to say about it. All the attention was going to be put on what the organization has to say about it. All the attention was going to be put on the response to Riley Cooper. As long as he kept his mouth shut, everything was going to be okay for him, because people already were going to try to zero in on Mike Vick just because he said something. You see what I'm saying? But he had to say something, and he had to say something nice, even though he was going to say something nice anyway, right? What I'm telling you right now is this. I feel like this situation is different.
How does this all relate to Desean, though?
I'm going to tell you. I feel like this situation is different. Desean Jackson does not have the cover of a Michael Vick.
No, he doesn't.
Desean Jackson has a different type of cover. He has the cover of the Day and Times, and he has the cover of Riley Cooper. Right?
No, he has the yes.
He has the cover of how the organization handled Riley Cooper. If they don't cut Desean Jackson, people will look at it and say the Riley Cooper situation caused this. There are people that are going to be furious with Desean Jackson. There are going to be people that are furious that he's still on the team. And there's going to be people directing their anger towards Desean Jackson. But they're going to be directing their anger towards the organization as well. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, when 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the Riley Cooper thing happened, the media, the casual fans, I will just leave it at that. The media and the casual fans didn't have any animosity towards Riley Cooper.
Okay.
The media, there's going to be members in the media, and there's going to be casual fans that are going to have a lot of animosity directed towards Desean Jackson. Even though he has the cover of Riley Cooper and the organization and the way that they covered it, and he has the cover of the Days and Times, he's still going to be vilified.
Here's the thing, man. Him being vilified, so what? So what? You did something wrong. Be vilified. But what I told you before is this team cannot cut him. I don't care if the owner is Jewish. I don't care if the GM is Jewish. In fact, I think the fact that the owner and the GM being Jewish actually works against them trying to cut him. Because if you cut him, it now looks like, oh, you don't give a crap if somebody offends someone of another race, but once they offend your race, oh, now it's a problem. Now you want to lay the hammer down that everybody was asking for before. Now you want to do something different about it when it's your race that's affected.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Can't do that. You can't do that. The Eagles set a precedent with
They did.
They set a precedent with Riley Cooper, and the NFL itself has set a precedent with any other situation that has come up with some sort of racial thing going on. A lot of the times, those like we see players like Jake Fromm, they stick around and they get education. So why shouldn't Desean get education? So again, and just from a societal standpoint, I think there's a part that people aren't from a societal standpoint, there's a part that people aren't thinking about where it's magical how you will always say, well, in this scenario, we messed up. We shouldn't have did it this way, but we're going to get it right this time. But every time you say we're going to get it right, every time you say we're going to get it right this time, guess who's on the chopping block? A black man. I find that amazing. It's amazing how every time you choose to get something right, finally, is when the black person is involved. But all the times before that where you chose not to get it right, it was a white individual or some individual of another race involved. So that's another aspect that you cannot do. And that right there, because I've heard people saying that the silence of the NFL players is deafening. The silence of the black NFL players is there for a reason. It's there because they're waiting. Like they are sitting
for the other shoe to drop.
Look, you don't do any of that to Riley Cooper. You didn't do any of that to Jake Fromm, but you're going to do that now. So now you don't want to educate the person. Now you don't want to work with the person. Now you want to cut them. That's what they're waiting around for. Like it's not that the black player doesn't condemn his comments, because of course they do. Like what he had to say when quoting Hitler, like, nah, man, nobody here is quoting Robert E. Lee. Like, nah, like it's not.
We're not rocking with that, man. We're not rocking with that. No.
Yeah, we're not rocking with that. Like it's just it's what it is. And unless you have another question, I want to move on from this topic.
We can move on. I'm done. I said what I got to say. I think we all understand what it is, and until something actually happens, whether they decide to keep them and educate them or they decide to cut them, then we can have another discussion on it. But as of right now, it is what it is. We know what it is already.
Oh, but real quick, there was a part that I wanted to say. Your man went full slow mode when it came to like you can't like Dr. Umar Johnson's quotes. I don't like calling that dude doctor. Because I don't know what he's a doctor of. I don't know what he's a doctor of. I don't like calling that dude doctor, but that's what people know him as. But Umar Johnson, who is one of the most divisive individuals out there in the world, and you're gonna like a comment from this guy saying, when will black individuals have to stop apologizing for things that they say? If you say something wrong, you have to apologize. Now, Desean Jackson, if you like that comment, it makes it seem like you apologize for no freaking reason at all, and you don't really believe it. And at that point, if that's how you really feel, you are serving yourself up for the chopping block.
Yeah. Well, let's
now. I don't care.
Let me end this. Let me end that part by saying, until Umar Johnson apologizes for taking everybody's money for a school that he's never going to build.
Gifts.
Hey, look, until he apologizes for that part, I don't want to
No,
hear nothing.
those
he
were
gotta
gifts,
say. Hey, look,
donations,
Mark, he said the school's still coming.
gifts.
Maybe I'm not giving him enough time. I don't know. But until I see you at school, Mark, yo, I don't want to hear nothing he gotta say, bro.
Yeah, man.
Nothing.
Those were people
but
paying their tithes, bro. Relax.
Hey,
Reparations. Relax.
man. I ain't got time to listen to anything Umar got to say. So come on, let's move. Let's move.
Moving on to better news. Patrick Mahomes got the richest contract for any sports individual in the world, and somehow this is still a team-friendly contract. But yes, Patrick Mahomes' contract is for 10 years, $450 million with incentives. It could be plus $500 million. So I'm going to just start, man, with saying, no, rightfully so. You locked that man up. The dude came out the gate firing, pissing gold. Like, you ain't gonna, what you going to do, man? Like, what you going to do? He came out like, oh, it's my time to shine. Here's an MVP season for you.
Hey, Mark, real quick, because I feel like you underselling it. Let's keep it a buck. Halfway through this man's first year playing, like as a starter, like halfway through this man's first year playing, I already said this man is the most talented quarterback that I have ever seen in my life. And you know how much of a Dan Marino fan I am. And people that understand what Dan Marino did, I understood what I was watching in real time with Patrick Mahomes. Like, yo, you're watching somebody who's being the greatest already, and he ain't even played a full season yet.
I mean,
he deserves every bit of money that he got.
Yeah,
man.
The dude just pissed his excellence. Just period.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Like, you can't stop that dude.
That man was out there playing like he's a vet, bro. He's playing like he's 35 years old.
I mean, he has head and shoulder commercials with Troy Polamalu. Like, what you gonna do, dog? Like, you can't stop this man from shining. Like, you can't stop the glow.
Man.
Like, but look, the point of that, and the main reason why I want to bring this up is not because Patrick Mahomes got paid rightfully so, but the idea that high tides raises all ships. No, high tides do not raises all ships. Not at all. This high tide is Patrick Mahomes specific. And if any idiot agent comes out and says, look what Patrick Mahomes got, like particularly, hey, Dak Prescott, you and your agent sit the fuck down. Like, you guys do not belong in this conversation. You keep asking for that $30 million that you were looking for. But don't think you're going to get a $40+ million contract or something like that. Hey, actually, in fact, maybe you will, because Jerry Jones is a bit of an idiot. But you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it.
This is what I'll say, Mark. If Stephen Jones wasn't in the room for any of these meetings, Dak Prescott would have been paid already. Stephen Jones is the savior of whatever is happening with this team over the past 5 years. Like this man would have had Baker Mayfield quarterbacking his team. Okay?
Hey,
they not Baker Mayfield, not Baker, Johnny Manziel, both of them. Who knows? He might have had both of them. All I'm telling you is this. If it wasn't for Stephen Jones, this man would have paid Dak everything that he wanted already, man. Jerry Jones' fingers is itching right now, and he's trying his best not to pay this man. But let me tell you something. And this is, I must say this, and I hate saying this, Mark. But goddamn, man, somebody got to give Stephen Jones some credit around here, man. Somebody has to give Stephen Jones some credit around here. Because I'm telling you right now, Stephen Jones is the one that's telling Dak, you're not going to get what you want here, bro. And Stephen Jones, I believe, is the one that is deciding to say, let's build the best team around Dak Prescott that we could possibly build so that Dak Prescott cannot have any leverage when it comes to this contract negotiation. Mark, what I want to know is what leverage does Dak Prescott think he has?
For the life of me, I've been trying to figure that out. I was like, what records have you broken? What have you done in the NFL? Like, who are you even? Have you won a playoff game? Like, what's
I looked at the roster, Mark. I looked at the roster. When they went and signed the Red Rifle, I was like, bro, I'll be honest. Are you going to tell me that Dalton?
Yeah, I would start Andy Dalton today over Dak Prescott. Like I don't care.
Cowboys what did they just go? 7-9, 8-8. What the fuck did they just go? You mean to tell me that you can't miss the playoffs by one game with Andy Dalton with this team? You probably can. You feel me? You probably can. Look, all I'm saying is Dak has not showed me.
Dak put that all on Jay Garrett though. He put that on.
Look, you can put whatever you want on Jason Garrett. I watched Dak go like 5 games straight without scoring the first half touchdown, okay? Yo, Patrick Mahomes has overcame Andy Reid. I do not want to hear nothing. Look, if you great, look, Mike McCarthy started playing, started coaching like a bum. And that man, Aaron Rodgers, was still managing to win games. Look, if you nice, bro. If you nice, you nice. Dak Prescott is dependent on a system, and he's dependent on the players around him, man. That man, like I hope, as somebody that hates the Cowboys, I hope that they pay this man Dak. I really do. I hope they pay him everything that he's asking for, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it'll be the biggest mistake that they make. You know what I'm saying? But
as a fan of the sport, I don't want to see no quarterback get paid anything close to what Patrick is getting, and I don't want to see no quarterback who was the current highest paid quarterback that prior to Patrick signing. Was it Russell Wilson?
I believe it was Russell Wilson.
Okay. I don't want to see nobody get paid more than Russell Wilson, because let's just face it. Honestly,
ain't nobody else better than Russell except for flicking Patrick Mahomes.
Like, no, there's nobody better. Like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' best days is behind him mostly, but he is still on par with Russ. Like Drew Brees on par. Like, you know what I'm saying? What Drew Brees
too old for you to give him that type of money.
Yeah, like Drew Brees, what he's done in the past, obviously he's had the longer tenure. So, but even still, what production today, I would still basically I look at it as a push. If I'm taking Russell Wilson or I'm taking Drew Brees, they offer you two different type of things, but the production that you will get is, from a quarterback standpoint, is relatively the same.
The only thing that makes you say Russ is that he's younger. You're gonna get more years out of him. That's it. Like, I feel you. I mean, style of play, all this other stuff. But I get what you're saying. As far as just being a quarterback, you're talking top level play. You know?
Right. So
both of them.
I don't want to see any quarterback coming up for a contract blowing Russell Wilson's contract out of the way or anything like that, because Russell Wilson's contract costs this amount of money, and Russell Wilson is having trouble putting offensive talent around him, maybe because his contract is in the way. Does anybody think about that? Hey, this is the ultimate team sport. No one person will ever get the job done in the NFL.
Okay, so this is what I'll tell you. Okay, because I have to give this opinion real quick. Their contract for Patrick Mahomes is good and bad at the same time. I'm going to explain why it's good.
No, don't explain why it's good.
No, I'm going to explain.
Let's skip
why it's bad.
Let's explain why it's bad.
Well, I actually do want to talk about why it's bad first, because that's where it's going to be bad at. In the beginning parts of this contract, it's going to be bad. Because of him setting the market, he's going to be setting the market for the first 5 years of his contract. Sadly to say, Mark, as much as you hate it, the second half of this 10 years, somebody's going to be getting paid more than what he's getting paid for the second half of that half of that contract. There's going to be somebody that's going to show up. It might be Russell Wilson, who knows? But somebody is going. We all know that the quarterback contracts has been doing this. They've been doing this, right? Everybody thought that. I thought that not the Patriots, but the Niners were paying Garoppolo ridiculous money. Everybody thought that Kirk Cousins was getting ridiculous money. But now when you look at everybody else's contract and what they have,
No.
You're just like, yo, come on.
Kirk Cousins still didn't deserve that contract.
No, he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying he deserved it. What I'm telling you is the ridiculousness of his contract as far as how much he was getting paid and how much was guaranteed. It looks like it does not look as crazy now. 2 or 3 years from now, he's not even he'll be maybe the 8th top paid player. What I'm telling you is when Patrick Mahomes reaches year 8 of this contract, he's just going to be a top 10 paid quarterback, is what I'm telling you, Mark. So in the beginning of this contract, it's going to hurt them when they have to start signing these guys. They're only going to be able to sign a few of them, and they're going to have to rely on the draft. Year 8, they're just going to be like, we're kind of getting a discount on this guy.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. It's a good contract for the long term. In the present time, the only thing that's saving them is the fact that a lot of the top players are on rookie contracts.
Yeah. Now
they're good. They gotta pay Honey Badger. They gotta pay Kelsey. They gotta pay. They just paid Tyreek Hill. They're gonna have to pay Chris Jones. You have to pay Chris Jones.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying about the market in general is that the way the quarterback market is, the moment you pay a quarterback, you are setting your team up to fail. Because I do not recall a starting quarterback being re-signed and not resetting the market every single time. It's absolutely ridiculous because a lot of these quarterbacks do not deserve to reset the market. But yet somehow every single time there's a new quarterback signing, they reset the market. And owners are just far too willing to do so at the expense of their team oftentimes. I'm staring you in the face, Baltimore Ravens. I'm staring you in the face.
I'll even say this. With Kirk Cousins,
I'm also staring you in the face, Seattle Seahawks. Your defense is a shell of what it should be.
Hey, Mark, you want to know something absolutely ridiculous that I saw today? Man, the Seahawks are kicking the tires on Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
Oh, now you want to pay defensive players. Yeah, you know what? Man? They whatever comes their way, they deserve it, Mark. That's
pretty much.
That's what I was saying. Whatever comes their way, they deserve it. Don't decide to try to pay them now. You want to pay Jamal Adams? Y'all just let Clowney walk? I will say Clowney's asking for a ridiculous amount of money. But you know what? You wouldn't even be in this situation if you decided to pay the defensive players that you already had. And those people were willing to take a discount. Yeah. Those people were willing to.
They just wanted what they deserved. They didn't want to reset the market. They just wanted what they deserved.
That's it. That's it, man. These guys were not going to try to go upside your head for it. And you's like, nah, bro. We rolling with Russ. Matter of fact, don't hand that ball off to Marshawn. We don't want to pay him neither. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So now Seattle, I think it's a slap in the face to y'all fans that y'all now trying to chase after Jamal Adams. But I know how I would feel if I was a Seahawks fan. Man. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know the market reset is coming. You know it's coming. You hate it. You don't want to see it, but you know it's coming, Mark. And once it comes, that Patrick Mahomes contract, it ain't gonna look so crazy. It's gonna look like a genius. It's gonna look like a genius deal come year 6, 7.
Finally, we're gonna switch gears from NFL to the NBA. NBA is going into their bubble. And my God, this might be the dirtiest bubble I have ever seen in my life. Like, you are going to Orlando, Florida, which is like the scum swamp of COVID-19.
Mark, I got a quick question for you, man. Has Florida not been headlining every single spike that has happened since we've been going into our, quarantining and wearing masks? Like, have they not been the epicenter of all the bullshit? I feel like they have been, but somehow they're like, you know what? Florida sounds nice. That's where we're gonna do all this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
nah, man.
Like,
Florida is absolutely a ridiculous location. So, with that being said, Joel Embiid has come out and said that he has a problem. Like, he doesn't understand it. Like, why we are restarting, why we going to Florida. But he's going to go because he's a team player and he wants to be a part of the team and this and all that good stuff. Kendrick Perkins has a problem with Joel Embiid expressing his concerns with what's going on. Kendrick Perkins basically told him to man up and check ball. So now, with this said, one, Kendrick Perkins, I don't like, given the uncertainty of what's going on today, it's kind of messed up for you to be like, whatever, check ball. Like, put yourself in harm's way for my entertainment. Check the ball and play. Everybody else is doing. So what if everybody else is doing it? This man's an individual. He can feel free to have his concerns. He's welcome to his concerns. Now that I've gotten that out the way, let me say this. I do feel as though Joel Embiid probably does have some real concerns, but I also feel as though Joel Embiid is serving up a built-in excuse for why he plays like shit.
oh, come on, man. That's what we gonna do to Joel?
For why he's not going to be
That's what we do
the
to
person
Joel
that
today.
he's
Okay.
going to be. Like, come on, Doug. Like, he's going to be like, man,
Hey.
I had the virus on my mind and I could not play,
Hey, man, I watched that, man. Are you talking about the same Joel Embiid that had his finger pop out the joint in the middle of the game, and then he popped that mug back in, and then it happened again? Like, that same Joel Embiid?
Listen, man.
I you know what? Let me stop trolling.
Listen,
No.
no.
You're not gonna let me ride with that?
Because there's people that'll ride out for the physical pain, and then there's people that'll ride out for like what hits them in the fields emotionally and stuff. Like, Doug.
Okay.
Let me put it like this. The physical pain, Joel can move past that. What Joel can't move past is the emotional pain of embarrassment. He has shown that. He has shown that many times that he is unwilling to step up and give his all to any particular situation, and because it's already a built-in excuse for why it didn't happen that way. Well, I didn't come into game in shape, and so I maybe need to be in better shape for next time. I need to get to better shape so that I can be the dominating player that I am, and that I can dominate everyone. And I will do that next year. And he says that every single time, every year. He says that. He says the same crap. Like, Doug, like, yo, he always promises to be in better shape. He's never in better shape. Like there's all these, like, I'm putting all the pieces to the puzzle together.
Go ahead,
and I'm
man.
making a picture. And all the pieces to the puzzle say, you may very well have real concerns about COVID, but it also is building in that excuse that I'm going to hear when you get knocked out in the first round by Boston.
Mark, I'm gonna say, okay. Let me give my. I have to respond to you coming at Embiid like this. Okay, I can't, like, I have to respond, right? And maybe I'm gonna respond in a way that you're not expecting because I got some stuff. I got some stuff to say about Embiid, to say to Embiid, and I got some stuff for Perkins too, man. Damn, I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm about to sound like a hater, Mark. Two things that nobody's ever accused Embiid of. Number one, being mentally tough. Number two, being a hard worker, man. So let me tell you, Mark, just to piggyback on your idea that this man might be putting in a built-in excuse. I didn't want to believe it, Mark, but now I started thinking to myself, and I said to myself, Embiid, this guy always, he's just never in shape, right? And then I thought to myself, what do you actually think Embiid has been doing in his off time this whole time? What do you think?
Told you.
Do you think
he told you? He might have been joking, or he might have been saying that he was joking, but it might have been the truth. He told you he's been playing NBA 2K.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's a 0% chance that Embiid has been working out like LeBron has been working out during this off time. I'm going to tell you that Embiid has been enjoying himself in this off time, probably like he does every off season. Okay, Embiid has not. Like, you see these guys like John Morant talk about, yo, I put on 12 pounds of muscle.
Yo,
I guarantee you that
Ben
Embiid
Simmons looks like a monster, dog.
Hey, Embiid is not going to look like Jokic does right now. Jokic look like he's been working out, man. Jokic look like he lost some weight.
Have you seen Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons is a monster.
But he's always been a workout guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fine. I expect that from him. But guess what I also expect from Ben Simmons? I expect none of that shit to translate to how hard he's gonna work on the court. But you're right. What? This ain't about Ben Simmons though. It's about Embiid. So I cannot just dismiss what you're saying about Embiid possibly just taking a lazy route and being like, yo, I know I'm not gonna show up. I need an excuse. I understand that. Okay. So, but once again, I don't want to let Perk off the hook because I got a lot of stuff for Perk, man. Let me tell you something, man. There's one thing in the NBA that I really despise, Mark. I really despise fake tough guys. All right? And I understand that for some people, Perk might have looked like a tough guy. He might have looked like a tough guy, but the man is not a tough guy. Man, that man be out there barking on people. He be scowling and shit. Like, all that stuff, man.
Face,
that means, hey, man, that Mark, are you gonna tell me that he's never tried to intimidate somebody with his facial expressions?
Yo, that's his face. What are you talking about?
I understand what his face looks like, but when he was with the Cavs and he was sitting on the sideline in the suit, he was out there trying to fight Drake, bro. Like, come on, man. Come on. I don't like fake tough guys, man. Don't bow up on Drake and not bow up on players on the court. Don't be that guy, okay? I don't like fake tough guys, man. I don't like it. This dude is using his position in the media to take shots at guys that he feels like he could take shots at. You know what I mean? This is another example of him trying to take a shot at somebody that he feels like he could take a shot at. Everybody knows Embiid is the goofball. Everybody knows Embiid is the guy that wants to joke around and play around and not be serious. Him going out of bounds and telling him to just check ball and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, he didn't say that shit about Avery Bradley. He didn't say that shit about Dwight Howard. He didn't say that shit about a lot of these other guys. Embiid, the jovial, joke around goofball. Now he wants to be Mr. Tough Guy and tell him to shut up and dribble. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not an accident that Perk picked him to say this to, man.
Well, I mean,
it's not an accident, Mark.
Well, you're right. You know what? Because I was about to shoot him some bail and say, well, to be fair, Joel Embiid is the person that expressing this, but he didn't come out and say this to Dame, because Dame Lillard would have barred him up. He would have had a fresh 16 waiting for him on a mixtape somewhere.
All I'm saying is I just find it very interesting that when Perk has something crazy like this to say, who else has he said stuff like this about? He have an awful lot to say about KD. Ain't nobody fucking scared of KD. Ain't nobody worried about KD. Of course he got something to say about KD, man. Like this is my problem with him, man. This is my problem with him. He has something to say about what's his name? Kyrie Irving. No, ain't nobody worried about Kyrie Irving. He start barking on cats when he feel like he could say something to them and have them either blow him off or have them give the KD response. Oh, you a sucker, or whatever.
I got more money than you. Whatever.
Yeah, like whatever KD be saying to people. You're a liar. You're just making it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, you Uncle Tom. Like, that's the worst that you're gonna get from KD. Okay, he understands that, and that's why he says these things about these people, man. Perk, if you're gonna be in the media, bro, if you're gonna be the guy that keeps it 100, keep it 100 with everybody. Don't come and attack Embiid about him having concerns when there's been like 10 other players that had concerns and you ain't saying nothing to them. Nothing disrespectful, nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about Kendrick Perkins saying something to Joel Embiid about this.
Yeah.
I am not paying no mind to this because this is another day where Kendrick Perkins decides he gonna pick on somebody that he knows ain't gonna check him.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And
simple as that.
Yeah, as simple as that. But there is a real concern for these players, particularly where they're going. Florida's numbers is ballooning, and that's because their governor never took the entire thing seriously. And I wish that the NBA had an active plan B ready, but clearly they did not. And so we are where we are, but I salute every single player, regardless of their built-in excuse for why they don't perform. I respect every single player for going down there and at least attempting to perform with everything that may be on their mind, given the current climate of the world, both racially and health-wise. So,
yeah,
and
shout out to those players that's just doing it because they're chasing that ring that they want. You know what I'm saying? We know who you are, LeBron. We know who you are.
Hey, man.
We know who you are, babe.
LeBron,
hey, look, man.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now.
Hey.
If LeBron, LeBron, he has 4 legitimate rings or 3 legitimate rings. This one, keep it in the tuck. Like if you win this one, don't ever bring it out. Just know that you got it, but don't bring it out. Because this, I don't care if you were going. Listen, let me put the caveat that the Lakers were 1,000% the favorite to win before this shit happened. But this championship doesn't count. Like, nobody is ever going to look at this championship as anything more than an asterisk.
You do understand that if they win, the Lakers had to fight through the adversity of COVID-19 not being able to practice.
I get how the media is going to I get how the media is going to spin it.
You know where it's going.
I know how history is going to look at it. I know how media is going to spin it, and I know how history is going to try to play it out.
You know where this is going, Mark.
You
know what LeBron's going to say.
This is an asterisk. Like, no, doesn't count. Yo, this is like every championship while Jordan was retired. It's an asterisk.
Okay.
Because you wasn't going to get that championship if Jordan was there. Like, just so.
This is what I will say real quick, because I don't want to get into the Jordan shit, right? Jordan was there, lost to Orlando, and then that same Orlando team got swept by the Rockets. So let's not talk about, but let's not go there. You know what? We're not going to go there.
Jordan came. No. Because Jordan came back wearing the 4-5, and it wasn't to play games with you.
Mark,
it was the
Mark, I get that.
He was getting himself together for the next season. So relax.
Mark, what I'm going to say is Do you think that Dennis Rodman would have had the same success against Hakeem Olajuwon as he did Shaq?
He wouldn't have needed to.
Who was gonna deal with Hakeem on that team?
Nobody would have needed to deal with Hakeem. Let Hakeem do whatever he's going to do. I'm Michael Jordan. I'm going to ball and bar everybody down.
You know what?
Who cares?
That's fine. That's fine. You know what? See, this is why I didn't want to get into this. But forget about that for a second. We talk about asterisks, right? We talk about asterisks, and you say this should be an asterisk. This is what I want for me and you, but this is what I would expect from the media that I haven't seen yet, Mark. I need, before this shit starts up on July 30th, 31st, whatever, I need all the media members to speak up now and say whether this is an asterisk season or not. I'm going to tell you, for me, Mark, this is an asterisk season.
This is an asterisk season.
We got players that are currently getting sick that ain't going to be on the roster. Like, people don't even know what they rosters look
nobody, like half the players are like, no, I'm just not going to do it. Some players.
Yeah, this has to be an asterisk season. I don't want none of these media members waiting to see who wins before they call it an asterisk or not. Because everybody seems to be waiting.
Yeah.
So what, asterisk for you? Asterisk for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we got it out.
Let me put it like this. I do not respect this, like, no matter who wins this ring. I do not respect it compared to any other ring. It's not a respectable ring to me.
It's not. Thank you. It is not a respectable ring for me as well. Many reasons, but I'll tell you this. This ain't a regular playoffs. This ain't a regular scenario. There's going to be teams that have advantages. This is more of an asterisk to me than the Knicks getting hot and making it to get fucking their head bashed in by San Antonio. Like, this is more of an asterisk than that season.
Hey, man. Well, look. You're absolutely right. And
that Knicks team had no business being there, bro. but it's on the books. They won an Eastern Conference title. You know, the Spurs got a title out of it. I don't.
But with that being said, I think it's a good place to end. So I'm gonna just say to everyone out there, stay safe, wear your face covering. Have a good night.
Peace. Right then. Peace.